We gotta do this,
Distancing.
yeah, I think it's important that everybody understands why we're having to do it this way today. Stephen, we got Facebook Live up and going yet?
Yeah, we're on there.
Okay, we have to do Facebook Live, that's a state requirement. I know a lot of folks are asking why we're having a fiscal court meeting in the middle of everything that's going on and why we're doing it this way, but that's what the state requirement is. So that's the reason we're here today. We have to do Facebook Live. We're going to call the meeting to order today. This is a special meeting, March the 26th of 2020. The meeting is now called to order. Myra, would you like to call roll, please?
Yes. Village Executive Robbie Williams.
Present.
County Attorney Keith Bartley.
Here.
County Treasurer David Lane.
Here.
Magistrate District 1 Mark Kreider.
Here.
Magistrate District 2 George Usley.
Yeah.
Magistrate District 3 Mike Tackett.
Here.
And Magistrate District 4 Ronnie Akers.
Here.
Myra, would you care to lead us in prayer, please?
Yes. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to gather here this morning, dear Lord. We know, Lord, that our nation is facing such a terrible crisis right now, Lord, and we ask you to lift up each and every leader, Lord, starting at the local level to the federal level, Lord. We just ask you that any and all decisions that they make, Lord, will be for the protection and the betterment of the citizens. I also, Lord, ask you to lift my boss up, Chris Wall, today in prayer, Lord. I ask you to bring healing upon him, to bless him and his family, dear Lord, as they are on this journey. May we never forget to give you all the praise and the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we just have one piece of business on the agenda for today, and that's a resolution. I've got a couple things that I would like to say. I'd like to thank the county attorney for helping to draft the resolution. I'd like to thank the magistrates who voted to set up the emergency fund that we created last year. I feel it's important that it's paid dividends for us to have this money put back to help the public. But a lot of people are asking why today, or do we have the need to allocate the money for the food pantries in Floyd County? In the course of our planning and preparedness, as leaders, we have to look down the road 4 to 6 weeks. And it's important for us to make the decisions today that's going to help us 4 to 6 weeks down the road. So we don't know if the courthouse is going to be closed down. There's so much uncertainty surrounding what's going on right now and how the operation is going to be conducted. So we felt that it would be in our best interest to go ahead as a fiscal court to meet, to discuss, and see what we can do to help out our senior citizens programs and our local food pantries. We've had thousands of jobs that have been lost in the last couple of weeks here in Floyd County. That's what we can directly attribute to employers. But as me and the county attorney was talking, there's a lot of folks that are contractors and people of that nature. And that, Keith, would you agree? That's going to lose jobs as well.
Well, a lot of people don't lose jobs, and a lot of people that were not eligible for unemployment,
Yes.
except maybe under this new rule. But then you have a lot of folks who unemployment simply isn't going to feed their families.
That's right, because of the amount. I mean, it's
You've got kids that are not going to school, so they're not getting fed at school.
absolutely.
Even though there's been some meals delivered, it's not every kid.
That's right.
So there's a lot of people that are struggling on the food.
Yes, absolutely. And we was just on a conference call with the governor prior to coming in here. And that's one of the things that the governor talks about is that once the restrictions are lifted, and they will be soon, we see light at the end of the tunnel. But don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of work to do, people. We don't need to be out this weekend partying and hanging out in parks and doing those things. We still need to keep our distance.
And that's the other thing that I pointed out in the addition I made to that resolution is that, all the experts in the world are saying that, especially people who are in the higher age category, need to stay home. Well, those are the folks who need the meal delivery more so than ever.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's something we're going to do is, we're going to increase our deliveries to our senior citizens programs, 20%. That's all the capacity that we currently have with the staffing that we have. And then we want to help the food pantries out as well. But you know, after the restrictions are lifted, as the governor said, that's when the work begins. I mean, people have to, you know, people aren't just going to go back to work. I mean, some of these jobs aren't going to be there for some time. We as community leaders and as elected officials, we have to step up and be accountable and do what we think is necessary to take care of our basic human needs, which is ensuring that our people are fed. And that's the reason we're here today. Mark, do you have anything you would like to add?
Well, I do have a list here about the food pantries that'll be available for here in District 1, and I've met with all of them, and the areas they serve. I'll put it on Facebook and stuff like that.
Okay.
Or we've got the Oxford Food Pantry. They serve the citizens of Oxford, Point Fork, East Point, base branch down to the hospital, Johnson County line, Genuine State Park, Dewey Dam, down to the county line, 321, and back up to the Coyote Den. That's the Oxford Food Pantry. Jacob's Ladder, it's in Old Allen up here. They'll be serving the residents of Old Allen, Gas Fork, Hinton Hollow, New Allen, Dwell, Cow Creek, Daniels Creek, Emma, Calf Creek, Mays Village, and down to Sugarloaf. And then we have also in District 1, we've got the Fishes and Loaves. They have been relocated up here at Lancer, just south of the Prestonsburg City Utilities. And that food pantry will be serving North Lake Drive, West Prestonsburg, Cliffside, Spurlock, Abbott Creek to Bonanza, Left Fork of Abbott Creek, Lancer, Whitaker, Goble Roberts, Highland Heights, Endicott, up to Sugarloaf, and South Lake Drive to the water company. And that should be about all the food pantries that will be serving here in North Florida.
Okay, we have eight food pantries here in Floyd County that we will be working with. So that's any other matters? You got anything you want to add, Ronnie?
Yeah, I reached out to the two centers in my area, the two food pantries yesterday, and the one on Mud Creek serves as right now about 150 clients a month, and the one on it's on Murray Creek, but it's called Crater Creek Food Pantry, is they're doing about 250 to 300 a month. So that's before all this happened, so we can look at those numbers to probably at least double, or who knows at this point, so.
And food pantries really worked off of a very tight budget to start with. Every November, December, the Floyd County Bar Association tries to help them with fairly significant donations, but they've told us in the last year or two that, you know, it's been tighter than it's ever been. So they're already in a tough spot, and then this pandemic hit, so the position has multiplied in severity by who knows how much.
Yes.
Well, Crater Creek had a giveaway Saturday,
Mhm.
and so they're kind of low at this point
Yeah, a lot of
today, so we need to try to.
Yeah, well, and that's what we want to do, and that's on the 200,000 that we're wanting to allocate. I think it's important for the people to really understand too. We're not going out here and stroking a check for $200,000 and dividing this money up above with these pantries. There's going to be limits up to $3,000 that we will reimburse for food and things of that nature, and the magistrates will be responsible. And will be the signor to say that the need does exist at those food pantries. And that's just the added layer of checks and balances that the Attorney General's office and that the county attorney asked us to implement. So hopefully the money will be allocated. It does, hopefully we don't have to use, much at all. This thing clears up sooner than later. But we do want to have the money laying there in the event that this thing should take a turn for the worst, and and we can't come in and have a meeting like we are today. So we just want everyone to know the rationale for that. Mike, George, y'all got anything you'd like to add before we vote?
Mine, Garrett, Whalen, and Becky is the worst needed, and I just want to make sure that they know where the food pantries are at. And the one on Middle Creek, the last fire department down, is one of them, and then one at Old Allen.
Okay.
And it's so much distance between them, I just want to make sure they know,
So the food pantry at Mill Creek,
Yes.
we're going to try to
The
help.
lower fire department.
Okay.
And Old Allen.
And the one over at Old Allen, okay, absolutely. Mike?
So the folks from Wayland would have to come to Old Allen?
Yeah, yes, down to the Old Allen or the Middle Creek one. There's not a pantry, there's not currently a pantry in that area.
We used to have one in the garden.
I think these,
The one there at the church, is that Camel Store?
the Heaven's Harvest Food Pantry is supposed to pick up all those people.
That's another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to pick up.
Now, we're on that Big Creek when they go paperwork.
According to Renee Thornberry.
Okay. So, Mike, what's food pantries you have in your area?
Just Heaven's Harvest, all.
Evans Harvest and the Big Creek, and
Big Creek.
you mentioned the Big Creek Missions, the one in Wheelwright. We will take a look at them as the paperwork comes in and see if they do qualify.
The only one I'm showing is Heaven's Harvest, there, one.
Okay.
They used to do one out of the Senior Citizen Center up where they may have stopped doing it, but years ago, I can remember when I was actually delivering food to them.
Yeah,
They
well,
had-
all they take around to the seniors, breakfast and stuff, and that's about it.
Do they get most of their food from God's pantry, food pantry over in Cleveland?
They do, and they get most of it from God's Pantry because they get such a really good deal. They buy it by the pound, and the cost is very low, thank goodness.
Now, Big
So-
Creek does a lot too.
So then do we need to set up an
Yeah,
account
where?
over there?
No, I don't think we need to set up an account. The way the resolution is written up, we can get the invoice or we can actually pay for it ourselves. Yeah, if we need to set an account up, we can. It shouldn't be an issue. Shouldn't be an issue. If they want to set one up, we can.
Can.
Yeah. I don't think that would be
As
an
long as you
issue.
get an invoice and.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're not just going to we're just not going to write a check to a food pantry and say, here's the money. We're going to actually purchase the food, or we will reimburse them for food that has been purchased. So we do want to be clear on that. That's the goal. But I would like to read the resolution right fast before we vote on it. I think it does outline some of what the requirements are.
But can the food come from a different source than God's food pantry?
They can get the food wherever they need, yeah, because I think and this is some of the things I discussed with Keith. I mean, we're going to have some things that aren't typical food needs that are going to have to be addressed. Baby, like for children, milk for infants and things of that nature. Yeah. So I don't know that they can get them there, but that obviously that's a need that we have to address. So if that's something they need to go pick it up somewhere else, I think we should give them that option. Yes. Okay, this is the resolution that we're proposing. At a special regular meeting of the Floyd County Fiscal Court held in the courtroom of the Floyd County Courthouse on Monday, March 26th, the following resolution was offered. Whereas due to the fact that we've now entered into an emergency situation in Kentucky where the governor has declared the state of emergency and the Floyd Fiscal Court has also declared a state of emergency due to the COVID-19 virus. Whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has created an increased need for food at our county's food banks and senior citizens outreach programs. Because many people are unemployed, some are not eligible for unemployment, or the amount of unemployment is insufficient to feed families, children that are out of school, and as a result are missing school-provided meals. Seniors are the most at risk and therefore need to stay in place at home, which creates greater need for meal delivery. And in many other ways, this pandemic has created a food and financial shortage at those food banks and outreach programs. Whereas the county judge is requesting permission to draw down up to $200,000 from the Emergency Construction Fund and transfer those funds to the general fund in an effort to provide necessary food or supplies to the local food banks, senior citizen centers, and outreach programs. Whereas the county judge is further requesting that the food pantry and our senior citizens outreach programs be added to the original standing orders resolution until such time as the pandemic emergency is over. This is due to the fact that the local food banks and senior outreach programs do not have funding or capacity to wait 30 days in between the court's regular court meetings to obtain the food during this emergency COVID-19 declaration. By doing so, the judge is therefore requesting permission without requiring the court's approval to issue POs and checks up to a total of $200,000 from this special projects account. Invoices will be required and obtained from the local food banks and senior citizens outreach programs located within Floyd County for the sole benefit of Floyd Countyans. It will be a requirement that the magistrates and the judge executive monitor the needs of the local food banks and the senior citizens programs. All distribution to the food pantries and senior outreach programs will be approved as a necessary expense by the magistrate within the district that the food pantry is located in order to qualify for funding. Now therefore be it resolved by the Floyd Fiscal Court to hereby add the food bank and senior outreach programs to the original standing orders resolution until such time as the pandemic emergency is over. Furthermore, the court grants the judge permission to issue POs and write checks from the special projects up to $3,000 per check pertaining to the food needs in the county. Additionally, the court is directing the treasurer to transfer $200,000 from the Emergency Construction Fund to the General Fund to cover such emergency.
Motion.
Make a motion.
Judge, the only thing I was gonna say was, the initial paragraph says Monday, and it's actually Thursday. I think everybody got it.
All right. Ronnie has made the motion.
I second.
George.
You want to call roll, please?
Magistrate District 1, Mark Ryder.
4.
Magistrate District 2, George Usley.
Yes.
Magistrate District 3, Mike Tackett.
4.
And Magistrate District 4, Ronnie Akers.
Yes.
Well, this is a good day for Floyd County. I believe the fiscal court has served the folks of Floyd County well. And folks, remain safe. And if you have any questions, concerns, anything that you may need, you can call the fiscal court at 606-886-9193. And we will be working with the senior citizens programs to get more meals out there. And we will be working with the local food pantries to ensure that no one goes hungry in Floyd County. Thank you all. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you all. Appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.